Is it a struggle? Yes, we have to realize our strengths and our weaknesses. Hi, and welcome to Why Not Show. I'm your host, Janice. Our show's helping others to reach their goals by interviewing inspiring people and guests and with motivational topics to help you get to where you need to go. And today's topic actually is on reading literacy. I have a great guest in the studio. Her name is Victoria Cape. She is with the founder of Legacy Family Center in Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. She's here to talk about reading literacy at home. Welcome to the show, Victoria.
Thank you, Janice, for inviting me to the show.
Great. Thank you for coming. Now, reading literacy, that's a big topic even for me because being a special education teacher in Chicago, along with I'm on the library board, so I just love libraries, and reading is really important to me in holding that book. Now, you founded this program, and I want to ask you a little bit about it. You founded a program to help people with increasing their literacy at home. Tell us a little bit about Legacy Family Center, Victoria.
Thank you, Janice. So Legacy Family Center was founded about a decade ago this year. So we're very excited to be celebrating our 10th year of doing this.
Oh, wow.
We provide both
Wow.
education and social services,
Mm-hmm.
and access in the to literacy in the home is really important because we have so many families and kids who don't have access to literacy. Yes, there are lots of libraries around the state of Minnesota, but when you think about transportation and for those families who work multiple jobs, books in the home is one of the things that they don't have. Literacy at home is something that they don't have. So one of the things that we have done is that we've taken the idea of reading and access to literacy at home. We have incentivized the youth from 10 to 17 at home to read to their younger siblings from 2 to 9. So because we incentivize them, we give them $100 a month. That's what incentive we give to them.
Okay.
So we give them $100 a month, and we ask them to read 3 books a week, 12 books a month, for 144 books a year. Now think
Wow,
about
that's
that.
a lot of books. That's
That
a
is
lot.
a lot of books. The average child does not read that many books in the daytime or in a week or in a month's time. So because we do that, we prepare the home for it to be a rich environment with literacy and reading, and that makes it accessible.
Now, why did you start this program? Did you find a need for it, or why would you start wanting to get people to read?
So I'm an avid reader as well. I love the library. I spend a lot of time in the library. And I'm also a social worker. And because
Okay.
I'm a social worker, I've worked with families who I've seen that their kids didn't have any books at home, or the parents did not have the time to read to their children. And so I just felt that because that particular time of a child's development from birth to 6 did not have a rich environment of literacy, that it's important for those of us who have the resources and access and can do that to be able to step forward to do that. So I convene a small group of women and we pull together the organization. And so education and social services is one of and those are the 2 things we do. We provide social services for the parents as well, connected to resources, housing, jobs, and those type of things. So we do those things for them.
So when you started this, you were a social worker and you noticed, I guess, then going through homes or working with families that some of the
Yes.
kids were not reading up to par. So you were
Yes.
working with the whole families.
The whole family. So everything we do revolves around the family. Our goal is to make sure that the family build their capacity so that they have the tools to then build their own infrastructure. And the way we do that is that we help them to facilitate that. The family have a lot of wealth of resources within the family. They just need a community of
The
people to
guidance,
help them, that will guide them
a
to
guidance
facilitate
for
that.
that.
Yeah,
Okay, some type of guidance. Because
yeah.
I'm sure a lot of viewers are wondering, like, well, how come there aren't books in the homes? Now you
Mhm.
work with a lot of families that if they're with social worker, they either need to some type of help, either associated with the country, because I think you work with a lot of immigrants also.
West
So
Africans.
West Africans, okay.
Yeah.
So even understanding that some countries have different values. So
Hmm.
maybe reading isn't as important, or even with social economics. If work is more important, the parents have to be out there working versus having time to sit with the child to read.
Yes,
Okay. So your program utilizes the older kids to
yes,
help out where that balance where the parents can't. The
yes,
older kids are reading, also developing their skills and teaching the younger kids to learn to read.
yes, yes. So we do a two generation, you and your
Okay.
sibling, older sibling and younger sibling. We're hoping that that will encourage the kids to be able to bond. That benefit of internal mentorship and tutoring happens naturally, organically. And so
Mhm.
that's what we're trying to promote within the family. And yes, there may be, I mean, there are a lot of books around, and people would say, well, why is it that kids don't have books at home? Some kids have books at home, but there's nobody there to read the books to them. If you think about, a lot of kids don't have anybody to do like a, if you ask some kids, they will tell you they've never had somebody read a bedtime story to them. So why don't we help those youth who are in the home build their capacity, give them something to do because they have a lot of time on their hands, right? So why don't we
Right.
incentivize them so that they can be the ones that do the reading and be a whole part of the family? So that's what we do.
Correct. And it's a shame that I'm sure we can ask a classroom of kids, and I know there'll be hands that go up that they've never had someone read a story to them at night. And
Yeah.
that's such a wonderful bonding time of even
Hmm.
if it's a sibling versus the parent. And you get to have the kids to explore that imagination right before they go to bed, which is
Yes,
missing for a lot of kids.
it is. It is. And so because it's missing for a lot of kids, most of our kids are like far behind before they even get into preschool, before they get into kindergarten. And because of that, sometimes the behavior is used to mask the fact that they're behind in their reading skills. So then they're regulated into special education. Not because they have special education or because they have behavior problems. It could be that they haven't had that opportunity for somebody to have read to them at home. So we're really trying to just kind of fill in that gap to make sure that kids don't go to school or start their journey into the education career without having that level of reading um, with their sibling or with their family,
Right.
just to make sure of that. Yeah,
To close the gap of that deficiency.
absolutely.
And what a lot of people don't understand is also that, yeah, like you said, with special education is not always like there's, it's a lot of times it's just a delayed.
It's a
And when
delay.
parents have to go out and work and
Hmm.
two jobs, you don't have that necessity, or you don't have the availability to read between that
Hmm.
0 to 5.
Yeah.
That's the time where that brain is being molded.
Hmm. Hmm.
Now, with your program, do they have to qualify? Or I know you're in Brooklyn Park, Minnesota, but do
Yeah.
they have to qualify to get accepted in your program, like either by academics wise or socioeconomics wise? Is there a criteria to get into the program?
Nope. You just have to be willing to be a part of the program and commit to being a part of the program because there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes that we do. So we are always looking for kids who are willing, and the family need to be willing because we do a monthly meeting and everybody has to be part of the monthly meeting. All the parents need to be a part of the monthly
Mhm.
meeting because during the monthly meeting is when we ask the parents what kind of resources that they need in order for them to build their own capacity so that they can be able to be a part of the um, support of their children, because we don't want the kids to be just the person that we're helping. We want to help the whole unit. That's what we call Legacy Family Center. It's the whole unit. We focus on the unit of the family.
Okay, so I'm gonna get this straight. So
Yes,
you have it for the whole family, like you said. You'll have the
yes,
kids, the older kids, 10 to 17, they'll read to the younger kids to fill in that gap to help them where maybe the parent isn't available, but it
Mhm.
also creates the bonding. And then you
Yes.
have a program also for the adults, the
Yes.
parents, to actually learn certain things. The monthly
Yes.
meeting that I believe you said like teaching them different skills, I assume, like finances or raising children, health conditions.
Yes. So we do financial literacy. We talk to
Okay.
the parents about how they can budget, what credit is, whatever it is that the parent think that they need for that month. We'll find professionals who can come and do the presentation or the workshop. So we ask the parents. That's why we have the parents to be a
Mhm.
part of the monthly meeting. We ask the parents what do they need, and then we
Mhm.
go out and find people who can bring those resources. And we also refer them to other social service agencies. So that's something that we do. As a social worker, that's what you do. You find resources and you refer clients to them. So that's what we do.
So it's kind of a holistic approach. You're treating the whole
Absolutely.
family, the whole
Absolutely.
family.
Absolutely.
Now, now you say you started, this is your 10th year anniversary. Now, do
Yes.
you do this all by yourself or do you have an organization or people on your board?
So that's Legacy Family Center is a nonprofit organization with a 501c3. We have a board. So yes, I also have lots of volunteers who
Oh,
help
that's
us to do.
great.
Yes, we have volunteers who help us to do it.
Mm,
And if a topic comes
cool.
up that we don't have somebody in our midst to do it, then we go
Mhm.
looking for that person.
Now, you had some of the meetings I thought in person also. Do you have an organization that helps you with that? Are you connected with like either the churches or with the school district to implement your program?
So we work with one church that's a French African speaking church, and then
Mm,
we work with a mosque that is
okay.
an African mosque. So we work with those two congregations on a regular basis. We also do like winter coat distribution. We do books distribution in the community.
Mhm.
We're always hosting books distribution in the community just to make sure. And that's why I met you when we met at the
Fair.
Uptown Books Fair. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And yeah, I thought that was so interesting. That's why I asked you on as a show on
Yeah.
the guest because you were giving away books, and I'm like, well, how are you just giving away free books?
Yeah.
And so, how do you even get the funding to even give away free books? I mean, books cost. I mean, nowadays books and money cost. So, how do you get the
Yes.
funding for that?
So we've been very, 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 very blessed to have people donate books or they donate funds to our book fund. They donate money to our books fund. We've also been working with Barnes and Noble in Maple Grove, one of the cities in Minnesota, who have helped us to do book drive. This coming April, we're going to be doing another book drive. So we're always looking for books, and we're always hoping that we can. We're always looking for money to buy books as well, because sometimes people give us books, but want our books to be diverse in the sense that we have a diversity of kids. So we want to be able to give our books that reflect those kids in the books. So we do a book drive, and we'll also do fundraising to get our books together to be able to buy specific books.
Okay. I believe before you said something about Barnes and Nobles had granted you books or something before.
Yes, yes. So we work with Barnes and Noble, and they and their consumer did a book drive for us and gave a lot of books. So we're able to do those book distribution.
Now let's get back to you said that the teenagers read to their siblings and they actually get paid for that.
Mm-hmm.
One, how do you even know they're reading? I mean, I'm like, I could sit there and like, yeah, I'm right. I'll just write on a piece of paper. Yeah, I read, and they didn't. So how do you even keep track that they're actually telling the truth? Which I'd hope everyone would tell the truth and be honest, but they don't.
Yes. No, they do. They tell the truth because we
Mhm.
ask them to videotape themselves.
I
So
was.
they
Does some
yes.
people feel uncomfortable? They're being videotaped. You think, or they're other kids? Probably not.
They are very eager to videotape themselves. So before we even ask them to videotape themselves, we make sure that the parents are comfortable in
Mhm.
having their kids videotaping themselves. And then because we're going to be using that, we have a legal form that is a consent form, and the parents agree to that. And if the parents are uncomfortable having their kids videotape themselves, then we ask them not to show their face and just
Mhm.
show their hands. And so there's a voice, it's just like you're reading an audiobook, and
Oh,
it's just
okay.
your voice that is being projected out there. So
Oh, wow.
that's how we hold them accountable. But they do read.
They do read.
Yeah. So
Okay.
right now we have 1,800 videos of kids reading.
Oh,
So
wow.
so yeah,
And that's even that close bonding. And yes, it's proof that they're doing it, proof
absolutely.
that they're bonding and reading
Mhm.
and all that great material. I would think even if they wanted to play that again for themselves, if they have the videotape to show, reading to their siblings, it's just a wonderful family memento to keep.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Now, how many people do you have in your program currently?
So right now we have at least 15 kids, and our goal is to increase that number to 50 by the
Mm,
end of this year. By next year, we would like to get up to 100. So our goal is to increase every year, so that we can be in all of Hennepin County, in the next 2 to 3 years.
okay. Well, now, how do the parents, are the parents very receptive to even the training for them, the class
Yes,
and worship you have?
yes.
What, I know you talked about, you've even talked to them about credit.
Mhm.
So, what exactly would you tell a parent about their credit? Or do you bring people in?
Well, so we bring people in to talk to them about financial literacy.
Hmm.
So under the umbrella of financial literacy is when they want to know about credit. How do you gain credit? How do you maintain your credit? How does your credit connect with your credit score? What does that mean? How do you budget? I mean, do you want to buy a house? Because wealth is in your house, right? So a lot of families want to know those type of things. And then we talk to the parents about, because some of the kids are between 16 and 17, we want to talk to them about going to college. If they don't want to go to college, what other things that they want to do? So
Hmm.
we may bring somebody in who can talk to them about how do you apply for financial aid? What does that mean? How do you apply for your admissions and your essay and all of those things? And then we talk to them about career, because everything is connected in life, right? So you want to
Right.
know all of those things
Absolutely.
again. So you're building the capacity of the family so that they can be able to have the infrastructure to then go out there and even develop their own capacity at the fullest. So that's what we do.
I mean, I even love the title of your company, your organization, Legacy Family Center. And what a lot of people don't understand is people get ahead by building through your family. You're
Yes.
leaving a legacy, but you're also creating it. You can't leave a legacy without creating
If
a
you have
legacy.
it,
And that
absolutely.
goes, and it goes with the whole family. The whole family has to move ahead. And
Mhm.
if one's behind, if a kid doesn't know how to read or needs exposure to reading, those are little gaps that need to be filled. And that's through generations, it's through different cultures, it's through society that the whole family unit starts first to develop, and then they can move ahead.
Absolutely. So you caught on to that really quickly. That's
Yeah,
exactly what we thought about.
right.
We thought about how does a family leave a legacy? Well, they have to build the legacy first.
Mhm.
And without each other within the family, it's kind of hard to leave a legacy because you're fighting about little things that are insignificant. But if you work together as a unit, then you're able to build your capacity as a unit and you're able to leave a legacy. And everybody in the family knows what that legacy is and they can build upon that legacy for generations to come. So that's why we chose the name Legacy Family Center.
Now, I know that you teach the families like finances. You also have like a social or psycho emotional that you also teach them, also like on caring for the family or kindness, different things like that on the psychosocial type aspect.
Yes, so we talk to them about not just psychosocial, we talk to them about their mental wellness, right?
Mental wellness,
We don't
right?
talk about mental illness because first you have to know what your wellness is first before you can know what illness looks like. So we
Right.
talk to them about mental wellness. And we talk to them about physical wellness because all of those things are all interconnected, um,
Mhm.
to be able to know what is it that you can do and what is it you cannot do. So for me, information is very powerful because when you are informed, you're then able to make informed decisions. But if you don't have the information, it's kind of hard for you to make informed decisions because then everybody else have their own opinion about what informed decisions are, but you
Mhm.
don't have the education to make that informed decision. So we talk to them about the social emotional health. We talk to them about their mental wellness. We talk to them about how do you regulate yourself in order if something is going on in order for you to not lose sense of your goal. Because
Mhm.
if you're a mom and you're stressed out, that stress is passed on to your children.
It
But if
carries
your
on
mom
through the
is
family.
exactly, but
Right.
if you know that you're stressed out and you have the tools to be able to regulate your stress, and you have people in your network who you can connect with who can help you de-stress, then it's easier for you to then help your children to not be stressed out as well. So we talk to them about everything.
Now, I know you work with a couple churches on this too.
Yeah.
Do they have any involvement, either religions wise or talking to the individuals at all about their spiritual well being?
So we leave that to the churches and the mosque
Hmm.
because we're not a religious organization. So we leave that out to them, and that's something that they do before we even come in.
Okay. So, do
Yeah.
you get most of the families from those organizations or do you reach out to the school system?
We do both.
Both. Okay.
Wherever we can find families, that's where we go.
Wherever. That's great. And
Yes,
that's the whole thing, wherever you can, because
wherever.
everyone's welcome with every
Absolutely.
socioeconomics, every
Absolutely.
background.
Yeah.
We want you to read
Yes.
and we
That
want
is our
your
goal.
family to grow.
Yes, that is our goal.
Okay. Now, um, I know you reach everyone. Did you
Mhm.
first find or found this program for a certain reason, or what inspired you outside of just seeing the family? What hit home for you? Was it inspiration from God, from a family you saw? What was your inspiration that sparked that got you to start Legacy Family Center?
So my children, I have four boys.
Oh,
Um, we spend a lot of time in the library. We do a lot of reading. My youngest son specifically, by the time he was in kindergarten, he could read really well.
mm,
So I felt like if I can spend this much time with my child and give him these type of resources, I wonder what it would look like if we were able to do that for more children out there.
wow.
So um, I I love people. I enjoy being around other people. Even though I'm
Right.
an introverted person, I enjoy being around people. But I specifically love being around young children because I think you can catch them
Mm.
and give them the resources before they become preteen to teenager, then you don't struggle with them. So I'm always at the point where I think that it's good to be at the headwater of catching um, youth before they
Right.
even become youth and giving them those resources, but really, really spending time with the parents and giving the parents the resources so that they have the tools to be able to take care of their kids. Because the kids that we're taking care of right now will become adults, and
Mm.
then those adults will become leaders, and then hopefully they will be able to run Legacy Family Center. So my goal is to grow our own uh, staff and executive directors within the family that we're working with to spark their interest in being an educator, being a social worker, being a
Mm.
psychologist, being an executive director, so that they can see themselves in what we're doing. It's not just for us; it's for them as well, and
So
then
you're
they can
trying
grow their organization as well.
So you're trying to plant a seed in each family that they become an organization themselves and have not
Absolutely.
only this generation, but the next generation, and
Mhm.
keep building the family and strengthening them.
Yes,
Now, we have a few more minutes left. Is this a program that you can expand to other areas or other people could start if they're interested? Is this something that you think can go around the country, not just in Minnesota, Brooklyn Park?
absolutely. And that's how we set up the program. It is a program that can be duplicated anywhere in the country or around the world. Very simple.
Okay, very
Yeah,
simple.
yeah.
That's good. Few more questions we have. Um, now, have you had any people, because you've been doing this 10 years, have you
Yeah.
had a lot of people that have like been steady in the program, like they did it for a couple years, or are people like the kids are like, yes, I'll do it now when I'm 10 or 12, but you're not seeing the older kids, or the older kids still involved?
The older kids are still involved. And most of the parents want their kids to stay until they finish high school. So that's that says something to us that we're doing the right thing. A lot of the parents want their kids to stay until they finish high school. And our goal is to, as we raise more money, is that the younger kids from 2 to 9, that they can stay until they get into third grade. So that is our goal. That way we can track to see what impact we've had over the years with them.
Okay, so you are trying to keep track of data too, so you
Yes,
can see the
yes,
progression of the program.
yeah.
My last question, I guess, is one, now suppose you don't have an older sibling. Can a parent get involved in the program, or they really need to have the older and the younger sibling in the family?
It will be really great if a parent can be involved in doing the reading.
Okay.
But if you don't have the parent doing it, the older sibling can find somebody in the community who can also do it.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
like if they have like a cousin or a younger,
yeah,
friend or relative, they want to do that too. And it still
yes,
develops the bond, even if it's like extended family. Because I know cousins who have cousins and things like that would be great.
yes. We're trying to build a community. That's what we're doing.
Build a community. That is just
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah.
Um, one final word on can you give for the importance of reading? Give someone advice on what is the importance of reading? How can it affect you?
The importance of reading is that it affects everything in your life, from finding a job to knowing what somebody is paying you, to being able to build your wealth. And when you go to the hospital, how to read when somebody gives you the paper, it just affects everything in your life. So it's really important to know how to read.
Absolutely. Very important how to read.
Mhm.
And being a teacher by profession and just understanding that the necessity of reading is important. We all
Mhm.
sit around with their video games, the kids do, and they lose that desire to actually pick up a book or now a Kindle and actually immerse themselves in something. It's not only reading to give you that information of fiction and give you the imagination, but even knowledge of reading and understanding.
Mhm. And even that, I mean, you can create your own book, right? When you don't always have to read somebody else's story. You can
Right.
write your own story. And that's another project that we want to do with our kids, is so that they can write their own story. Who can tell your story better than you?
Right. Reading,
Nobody.
nobody. Reading can lead to writing and literacy, and the world is your oyster. You never know what can happen. Well,
Absolutely.
I want to thank you, Victoria, for coming on the show. This is Why and Why Not. Our topic today was reading literacy. Our guest, Victoria Cape from Legacy Family Center from Brooklyn Park, Minnesota, just talking to us about her reading program and getting people to read. It's an interesting program. For more information, view her website. Thank you very much. We appreciate you and have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Thank
Good
you,
night.
Janice.
Thanks for coming.